Monolith, the team that revolutionized action horror in this year's PC release, Fear, brings their haunting environments, hardcore gameplay, and refined graphical design to the Xbox 360 in one of the most psychologically ruthless games ever made, Condemned: Criminal Origins.
This is Officer Becker. We need backup immediately.
The combat can get repetitive, but the chilling environments are fun to explore, and the story keeps you sufficiently disturbed.
An unfortunate scene. Did your best, but it could not be helped.
Your character, CIA agent Ethan Thomas, is framed for a murder early in the game, and you have to prove your innocence and hunt the real killer at the same time. But the story primarily focuses on the strange ability you have that triggers flashbacks and hallucinations. These range from helpful hints to haunting images, and they're designed to keep you losing your grip on reality, similar to the scare tactics from Eternal Darkness.
Jeez, Thomas, you okay?
While the 10 story chapters are pieced together with in-game cinemas, the majority of the events and clues are experienced in first person. So whether you're talking on your PDA or falling down a flight of stairs, you'll see it all through Ethan's eyes. And the evidence you collect adds layers to the mystery, like an episode of CSI or The X-Files. But most of your visions are added merely for atmosphere, and it's never fully explained why you have these powers.
You seem to know a lot more about what's happening than you're letting on.
Condemned deals in some genuinely disturbing subject matter with some well-constructed scares, but sometimes you get the feeling it's all for show. You'll spend most of Condemned searching for clues and beating up crazy people. CIA reports indicate that in specific parts of the city, violent crime has risen dramatically, so just about everyone you encounter will come running at you swinging or shooting their weapon. You block with the left trigger and attack with the right. Your attack speed, damage, and reach varies depending on what type of weapon you have. Blocking is easy, in theory, but the more enemies you face, the more their movements become difficult to predict. There are guns available, but none of them have enough ammo to last you longer than a couple of minutes, so you'll have to get used to using sharp or blunt objects. This inevitably gets repetitive by the end of the game, but it's still refreshing to play a horror title with an effective melee system. If you run out of ammo in Silent Hill or Resident Evil, you're screwed. It's also more realistic when you're forced to use one weapon at a time. But the game starts you out empty-handed at the beginning of each chapter, even if you had a weapon in the same spot when the last chapter ended. You also can't reload a weapon when you find more ammo, so you'll have to decide between 2 shotguns with 2 rounds each, when you should be able to load 1 shotgun with the 4 rounds. When you're not cracking people's heads open, you're hunting for clues you can find with your forensic tools. The good news is, the game takes the hassle out of trying to figure out which one you need to use by picking the right one automatically, and telling you exactly when you need to use it. But this might be bad news for anyone who would rather do the investigating themselves. The order in which you examine each piece of the puzzle helps tell Condemned's linear story, but it's also frustrating not having the freedom to tell your own. And although Condemned was obviously built as a single-player experience, it would have been nice to see some kind of co-op or multiplayer gameplay as well. The lighting and the textures will definitely make you happy you're playing Condemned on an Xbox 360. Without your flashlight, some areas are pitch black, and every environment is saturated in a 7 meets Silence of the Lambs style. But as impressive as the lighting is, most of the levels are really dark. This helps keep you on edge, but it can make navigating for a way out tiresome. Some heavily illuminated areas would have been welcome to break up the narrow flashlight view. With no map on or off screen, finding where you need to go can be a chore, and while the environment textures are impressive, the characters can look a little goofy in the cinemas. Their eyes don't always stay on you in gameplay, and their movements don't always connect with their surroundings. But the enemy animation is both expressive and unpredictable. Each target has a psychotic look on their face, and their movements are wild and aggressive. While some lunatics will run at you with their guard down, others will run away and hide, fake a swing to throw you off, or pretend that they're hurt and then spin around for an unexpected attack. But when the combat is more than one-on-one, the enemies can get caught in some jerky interactions with the environment. and although their appearance and animation is well detailed, you'll often fight the same guy over and over. This is understandable, but similar models should at least be wearing different clothes.
What the hell was that?
The sound is half of what makes Condemned so intense. Every level is full of extreme effects, from police sirens in the background, to people running around upstairs, to enemies yelling at you before you can see them. The voice acting in the cinemas is decent, but the fierce shouts and grunts in combat, along with the satisfying crunch of wailing on someone with a lead pipe, help the 5.1 surround sound deliver an immersive and jarring experience. Although it's not your typical first-person shooter, Condemned: Criminal Origins is an engrossing detective story with plenty of clever scares. Beating up crazy people in dark, shadowy environments can get old after a while, but the lighting, sound, and visceral gameplay easily make Condemned one of the scariest games ever made.